Welcome back, you two pipe smokers. Munchop Piper here. Well, today is the first solo game playthrough of a game. So I want you to take the time while I'm going through this and find a pipe, get your tobacco, and get it started. You can pause the video till you get that done and ready. But this is the first game that I've chosen to play, and it's a relatively new game, and you can pick it up. This game is called Siege of Valeria. It's a one-player game. It is produced by Daily Magic Games, and it is a game created by Dan Flattery and Mialo Dmitrievsky. Yeah, I butchered that for sure. But it's a really fun tower defense game. And I'll explain to you what a tower defense game is. But it's a type of game. There are several types of games out there. There are deck builders. There are several different kind of games. This one is a tower defense, and you'll understand. You could pretty much tell what kind of game it is just in the name, tower defense. That's correct. You're defending a tower. So let's break this thing open and get it on the table, and we'll give it a go and see how lucky I am to get a win from this game. All right. I hope that you have your favorite tobacco all set and ready to go. Sitting in your favorite chair, sit back and watch me play Siege of Valeria. The story of Siege of Valeria. For more than a month, the Shadow Kingdoms have surrounded your fortress at Valeria's southern border with hordes of monsters and mighty engines of war. The Queen of Valeria has sent word that her forces are all engaged in the battle for the north, and she cannot provide assistance. Your supplies are nearly exhausted, and your starving and suffering citizens are close to despair. You've rallied your soldiers and holy troops to meet the monsterkin's latest surge, but if you cannot break the siege in 7 days, your fortress will fall, and the southern border of the realm will crumble before the onslaught of monsters. Do you have what it takes to defend the castle? All right, so this game, the type of game this game is called a tower defense. And basically, it's exactly what it says. These are your towers, and you're defending them from the onslaught of monsters that are heading your way. Now, I'm going to actually play the game, and I will go through the rules and go through the things that you see on the board as we play the game. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to roll dice. This game is heavily dependent on some dice that come with the game. So you take your dice and you throw them. All right. So now the dice that we have here we have soldier dice and magic dice. You start out with 5 soldier dice and 2 magic dice. The next thing we do is we resolve any of the siege engines. Okay, so now on this back row, those are your siege engines. Those are the things that you want to prevent from getting to this row. This is called your vanguard row. If any siege engine gets to the vanguard row and successfully attacks, the game is over. So let's take a look at one of the siege engines, and I'll give you some information about what a siege engine does. Okay, so this siege engine is called the battering ram. You can tell it's a siege engine by this symbol here. As you see, there's 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most of them are blacked out. See how they're gray or black? That means that's their out of range symbols or areas. This bottom one shows a yellow. That's in range. The numbers that are next to each one of these tells you how many points it takes to destroy the battering ram. So using your dice, you count up to 14 when this engine gets into range, and that's how you destroy it. Now, once it gets into range, this bottom level here activates. What it says is lower each soldier die by 1. So what that means is that a die here, like 3, goes to 2. But that only happens when it gets into range. Now, as you can see, if you look close enough, none of our siege engines are in range. This one is almost in range, but not quite yet. The next thing you do is you draw an event. This is your event deck. So let's draw an event and see what it says. Camp Crud. The goblins launched into the castle by the trebuchet did not survive the landing. The unseen plague carried on its body did survive and silently waited on loaves of bread and pitchers of brew. By day's end, your people are doubled over, excreting liquids from their mouths and their rears. Well, that's pretty disgusting. So now what we have to do is we have to lower 3 dice by 1. Now you see how they're black? Anytime you see a black die, that means that you have a choice to lower a soldier die or a magic die. So we have to lower 3 of the dice that we have by 1. All right, so I'm going to bring this one down to a 4, this one to a 4, and this one to a 3. All right, so that's all that's left for that. We're done with that. Now we have to perform our actions. This is how we do that. In between our towers and our siege engines are troops. Here, 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 and here. This row, as I said before, is the vanguard row. Anything left in that row attacks our towers. So our first goal, is to try to get rid of these front row troops. Now, something I did not do during setup is I did not draw 2 cards to start with. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so let's take a look at a troop card and explain to you what they do. All right, so this one can only be destroyed by a soldier dice. It costs three strikes to kill the Goblin Warrior. This is what it is. It's called the Goblin Warrior. And its effect says plus or minus 1 to 1 die. See how it's black? That means that it's blue or red can be reduced by 1. Now, this line, once a soldier is destroyed, it comes to your hand. And these affect your play. So since I got this one during setup, I can use it to add or to subtract 1 from any die in my dice pool. All right, the next one. This one can only be destroyed. Well, it is a magic user. It's a magic entity, soldier. And it's an Efreet in Flame. In order to kill this, I have to use 4 magic points and 5 soldier points. The benefit for destroying this card is spend +2 to overkill an adjacent siege engine. What overkill is that usually when you use die to destroy something, anything over the amount, let's say that you've got a 4 and a 5. Let's say I use a 6. A 6, as you know, 6 on the die. 2 of that is considered overkill, and it kind of gets wasted. But with this one, I can take any overkill I use and apply it to a siege engine. All right. So let's take a look at the front row here and see what we can do to get rid of stuff, and look at our dice. All right, this is a pretty good one. It only costs 4 soldier dice to get rid of, and that's a Gargoyle Talon. I can attack any non-front card. So what that tells me is when I get this destroyed and get it in my hand, I can go and destroy any card, even siege engines. That's a pretty good card to have. This one costs 7. It's a Troll Brute, and I can change 1 of any color die to a 6. So that's pretty good. So if I've got a 1 soldier die, I can automatically turn it into a 6. And let's look at this one. This one costs 3 magic die and 3 soldier die. It's an Undead Samurai. You can swap 2 adjacent cards. So I can swap this one for this one, or these 2 I can swap, or these 2 I can swap, and swap these 2. Anything that's adjacent, I can swap. All right, so the first thing I think I want to do is I want to destroy this gargoyle. Now, I could use a 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this card, which says I can use a +1, or I can add or subtract 1 to 1 of any color die. So I'm going to use this card, and it goes to the discard pile. I'm going to take this 3. See how this is 4 and this is 3? I get to add 1. Goes to a 4. So I have destroyed this gargoyle. Now it's in my hand. I'll put my hand over there. All right, now let's take a look and see what else we can do. Okay, so I attack any non-front card. So the thing about it is this. Any card that's left up front will attack my towers and do damage. If they do damage, then if you get so much damage, and I'll explain that here in a minute, get so much damage, you're going to lose the game. So we can't just take this card. We can't just take this card and say, okay, I'm going to spend 14 to kill one of the siege engines. Now, we could do that, but if we deplete all of our dice, that's going to leave a lot of soldiers here, or a lot of troops here to deal with when it comes to damage. So I've decided I'm not going to do that. Let's take a look. Well, we can do this one. Let's see. This one looks pretty good. Cost 7. Let's see if there's anything that we have in our hand that can help. Spend +2 to overkill an adjacent siege engine. So we really can't do anything with any of the cards we have. So we're going to have to pay 7. So we could pay 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So we use these two, and we have destroyed the troll brute. It goes into our hand. Now let's see what we got left over. We could get this goblin warrior for 3. Let's take a look at this one here. This one is Undead Samurai. Swap 2 adjacent cards. I need 3 magic and 3 soldier dice. So if I did this here, here's the problem. Since I've only got 1 magic dice left, I've got a magic card here. So it looks like I'm going to be leaving 1 magic card on the table. This one, Gargan Priest, blocks the effect of 1 siege engine. Now, the thing about it is that siege engine is about to come into range next turn. So I've got to decide whether that's more important or this is more important. I'm going to go ahead and take this one and get rid of it. So take these 2 dice. They're both 4s. I understand we're over attacking, but it's the best we can do. So I take these and put them in this pool. And now this is destroyed. It says swap 2 adjacent cards. So I could, if I wanted to, swap this one and this one. The only problem is that it doesn't matter what I do. I could get one of these. Oh, something else too, just so you know, is once you have destroyed any card in this Vanguard row, this is considered the first row. Now, this one, and this one are in the front row. So I can attack one of these if I want. But I think I am just going to... I think I'm going to use both my dice for 3. And I'm going to destroy the Goblin Warrior for 3. All right, now it says that I can do a +1 or -1 to one of my dice. We've got one of those already. All right, so now that's the end of the turn. As you can see, we still have 1 enemy, 1 monster in the Vanguard row. So now we're going to activate the Vanguard, which means this is going to attack this tower. Once it attacks the tower, it sets it ablaze. Okay, so that's what happens. If you get 4 flames on a tower, the game is over. So you have to kind of watch where these flames go and how you get them and when you get them. Okay, so that's done. Now, this is discarded to the discard pile. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust the battlefield, which means bringing all of these cards forward to where this row here is now the vanguard. I'll do that off camera and I'll be back shortly. We have now advanced the battlefield. We've brought everything up to right outside of our towers. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to reinforce the battlefield. The first thing we do during this step is to make sure that we still have 5 siege engines, which we do. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to refill, or we're going to reinforce the battlefield with more troops. So we take 4 troops, we put them into play. All right, and now we start the process over again. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll our dice. Well, it's not too bad, but it's not too great either. All right. Now we're going to resolve any of the siege engines. So let's take a look at our siege engines and see exactly where they're positioned. This one is out of range. This one is out of range. 1, 2, 3. This one is out of range, and this one is out of range. Unfortunately, this one is in range. As you can see, it's in the 4th row. So we have to spend a soldier die and a magic die. So what that means is we have to choose a die in our pool and actually put them into the exhausted pool. So I'm going to take these 2 1s and I'll put them over here. All right. Now the next thing we do is we resolve an event. So remember, here's our event deck. So we pull one up and we see what we get. Shaman's Ritual. With knowledge of the deep soil, Knoll shamans tap into the fountain. With a connection to the patter trees, orc shamans ask for a direct link to the fountain before you stand ask for a direct link to the fountain. Before you stand a dozen gnolls with hands in the ground and 3 orcs holding saplings. Crackling energy emerges from the earth and surrounds a siege engine. I have to add 2 of these blue tokens to the farthest siege engine. So all of them are the same. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these 2 to one of the siege engines that is furthest away from the vanguard, which is going to be this one. All right. So that's done. Now we perform our actions, which is in this row here, is trying to make sure that we keep a good balance. So some of the cards in the front here are really great. This one, for instance, is one I'm definitely going to have. It's gain and roll 1 soldier die. So it costs 6. Here's my 6. Put it into my exhausted pile. This goes into the discard, and I get to get another die and roll it. Gives me a 4. All right, now let's take a look and see what we got here. See if there's anything we can use. All right, this one I put in there by mistake. Sorry about that. So this one, I can change 1 die to a 6, and I'm going to do that. So this one gets exhausted, and I'm going to change this 3 into a 6. Now I get to use this one, or I get to attack this one. This is an orc archer. I gain and roll again 1 soldier die. So oops, this goes here, and another die. So let's see, we got a 4. Not bad. This 6 goes into the exhausted pile. All right, now let's take a look. We need to kind of keep an eye on these siege engines to make sure that we don't let them creep up on us. So I think I'm going to try to take this one out here, because it's annoying. So changed. Okay, so it's going to cost me 13. Do I have 13? 8. I do, but it's going to overclock. Now, let's go ahead and do it. So I'm going to spend these 4 to destroy this siege engine. All right, now, once you destroy a siege engine, you get a champion. So let's see what champion we get. All right, I get Sister Mystique. I get to spin it right away, and I can move 1 soldier die or 1 magic, soldier or a magician or a siege engine to an open space. So, it's used automatically. I don't think I'm going to use that, because there's nothing really I can move that would be advantageous to me. So I'm just going to let that go. I've got 1 die here that's left over, and I have nothing I can use it for. So I think what I'm going to do, well, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm going to back up a minute. I'm going to take one of those 4s that I used, because you can use a magic die in conjunction with a soldier die. You can't use magic die on like a soldier, but you can use a magic die in conjunction with a soldier die to defeat like this one here. So I'm going to trade up, and then I am going to use my Sister Mystique, and I'm going to use that to move this gargoyle talon here. And then I'm going to use this 4 to defeat the talon. All right, my dice are used, and unfortunately I have some troops left in the vanguard. Now we're going to activate the vanguard. So what that means is that any troop that's left in the vanguard is going to do damage to our towers. And they do that in the form of these little fire tokens. So 1 goes there, 1 goes there, one goes here. Now, if you get 4 fire tokens in any of our towers, we lose the game. That's one of the loss conditions. So now that that's done, these get discarded. And then we're going to advance our battlefield. The battlefield has been advanced. And now what we're going to do is we are going to reinforce the battlefield. First thing we do is we take a look and see if we've got 5 siege engines, which we don't. So we have to refill the siege engine in the row that it's missing on the 5th row. Then we reinforce with 4 more troops where there is an available spot. So go here, 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 and there. All right. Now, let's see. Now we start over again. First thing we're going to do is we're going to roll our dice. Let's hope we get some good numbers. I tell you what, I cannot roll dice for nothing. Bunch of 2s and 3s. Okay, so now we're going to resolve our siege engines. So this one is out of range. It has to be in this spot. This one is in range. So let's see what it says. This one says reroll 1 6. One die that has a 6 on it. Well, look at there. I don't have any dies that have 6s on it. Too bad. This one is out of range. This one is out of range. And that one is out of range. All right. Now we're going to resolve an event. So here's our event deck. Let's see what it says. Unified Rights. The rune witch grasps her staff tightly with her left hand. With her right hand, she traces runes into the air with her fingertips. The blue energy from the clawed eye at the top of her staff lends its light to her runes. She whispers into the clawed eye, and the runes dance to the foreheads of each troop in the front lines. I have to add 1 magic token to every magic user in the vanguard. Well, that's not good. So these are the tokens that they're talking about. So I have to add 1 here, here, and there. Okay, and I think there's 2 supposed to go here. Okay. Now that's the event is resolved. Now we need to perform our actions. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. We've got an attack any non-front card. Got 2 of those. +1 to 1 die. Swap 2 adjacent cards. Okay, well, we don't have a lot going on, do we? This one is gain and reroll, so that's a 6. So let me do that. So this one is gain and reroll 1 die. So I'm gonna go ahead and attack this for 6. 3, 6. Go into my exhaust pile. I'm going to go ahead and use this. Goes in the discard pile, and I roll 1 die. Well, I got a 5. So I got something good there. All right. Now, This one is now in the front row, but I don't really want to deal with that one. Okay, so now I'm going to deal with this one next. It's a Goblin Warrior. I get to add 1 or subtract 1 to any die. So I'm going to do that. It's going to cost me 3. There's a 3 I'm going to use. And then I'm going to use this card. Use this card to add 1 to this blue. All right. Now I'm going to attack this guy. It will block the effect of 1 siege engine, cost 2 plus 1. So it's going to be 3 magic and 3 soldier. Okay, so this gets discarded. 3, 3. Now, I don't know if what I've got here. Let's see. Non-front card. Non-front card. So here, as you can see, I'm kind of low on dice. Okay, so let's try this, see if it works. So I'm going to use this one. Attack any non-front card. And I'm going to attack this one. This one says flip any 1 die to its opposite side. So I'm going to use this 5 to attack it. And then I'm going to use this, flip 1 die to its opposite side on this blue die. The opposite side will be 6. Now, let's see. This one is in range. I don't know if I can. I've got 14. I don't. I've got 8. So, well, this one's in range. Gain a roll 1. Okay, so I could do this one. I'm going to do this one. Gain and roll 1 magic die and gain 1 champion. It's going to cost me 6, 7, 8 total. And then I'm going to use it to give me a 2. And then I get a champion. Sir Nathan, I can use it to re-roll 2 spent blue to reuse them. Well, that was very lucky. So I get to take 2 spent blue dice and re-roll them. A 5 and a 4. Okay, so I don't have any red die at all. Wow, that kind of stinks. So I've got a total of 5, 9, 10, 11. I need 14. I don't think there's anything I can do. I could do a +1, but that's going to give me a 13. Oh, all right, look at this. Look at this. Okay, swap 2 adjacent cards. I'm going to use that one first. And I'm going to swap, bring this forward, put this back. Now, because this is now in the second position, it is now a 12. So I've got 5, 9, 10, 11. And then I'm going to use this card to give me a +1 to any die. Okay. This one goes to a 3. So now I have a total of 5, 9, 12. Then I'm going to attack this card and kill it. There we go. Look at that. That worked out really well. All right. So because we killed a siege engine, we get to get a champion. This one is Sister Althea. Turn it over to get a +1 to 1 magic die. And it goes there. All right. Well, looks like that's the end. So now we're going to activate the Vanguard. So here, here gives me a fire token. Goes here. And then a fire token that goes here. Now, you would think that when the Vanguard is you're done with the Vanguard, that these would go away along with their tokens. No. This one goes back there, and this one has nothing to go to, so it is discarded. All right, and then now we're going to advance the battlefield. Now it's time to reinforce the battlefield. Now let's point something out really quick before we do that. I've got a siege engine in the Vanguard. If I don't deal with this and I don't destroy it, and it attacks me during the resolution of the Vanguard, it's the end of the game. So first thing I do is I check and see how many Vanguard or how many siege engines I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one does not have a siege engine. So it goes there. And then we refill with troops up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, then we start the process over. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a handful of dice. That's good. Let's hope we get some good numbers. Roll our dice. Let's see what we got. Yeah, buddy. Looks like we got a little bit better that roll that time. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to resolve the siege engines. So this one is in range. I got to forfeit 1 die and 1 champion. So I've only got 1 champion, so it goes into the discard pile, and I got to forfeit 1 of my red die, which is not good. That means it's not even put in my pool. It's totally taken out of the game. So that's unfortunate. This one I got to lower 1 of my red die by 1. So I will do this to a 3. This one is not in range, and this one is in range. Reroll 1, 6. All right, so I'm going to take this 1, 6, reroll it. Gives me a 2. All right, now I'm going to resolve an event. So here's an event. Let's see what this one does. Trained warriors. The drum beats roll in from the rear guard, a slow and steady rhythm. Suddenly 5 cracks of drumsticks clacking against each other comes from the front lines. The drums begin to beat faster and louder. The troops at the front straighten up, draw their swords, and begin to march forward in unison. I've got to add 1 red token to every regular troop in the vanguard. So add this here, and I added this here. All right. Now we reform our actions. Okay, so we definitely have to get rid of this. But it's going to be difficult. Yeah, it won't be difficult, but it's going to use up a lot of stuff. Block the effect of 1. Man, I should have used that. Well, too late now. But I got to remember I've got that. Okay, so I'm going to concentrate on this first. So I'm going to use 14. 6. 11. 14. So here's the rub about this, right? Is if it was just a card without any tokens on it, it would only cost me 14 of any color. But because it's got these 2 magic tokens on it, I have to include a magic dice with 2 pips on it in order to get rid of it. So I got to do it. So this is destroyed. And I get a champion. See who we get. Smith Lacon. When I flip it over, I move 1 fire to, or 1 flame to a different turret. Okay, it's good. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay. I like this guy here, but it's going to cost me 9. So, let's see. Five, 9. All right. This. And I get this guy. All right. Now. All right, so let's take a look at this. So spend 2 extra to overkill an adjacent siege engine. So let's see what I'd have to do. I have to have 5, right? I've got 5. I've got 3. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this 3, but I'm going to use this card. This card says double the value of 1 die. So now this is a 6. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this one because I have to. So now this is a 10. Overclock this for 2. And then, let's see. I've got anything that can... No. So I'm going to have to use these 2, unfortunately. Also, and I've overclocked this. So this comes to my hand, and I'm going to use it right away to destroy this siege engine because I overclocked. I'm sorry, I overkilled this by a lot, enough to do enough damage to kill this. Siege engine is gone, and I get a champion. Okay, this is Sir Chunan. Get a +1 against a regular troop. It was there. All right, I'm out of dice. So now I have to activate my vanguard, which gives me a flame here and a flame here. So I got to be careful because I'm getting a lot of flames out. And then this goes back here because it's got red on it. These are discarded, and I will advance the battlefield. Okay, now we got to reinforce the battlefield, so we check our siege engines. We've got 1, 2, 3. So we need to add 2. So siege engine goes here and here. Then we refill our troops. 4 troops. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now we roll our dice. Great. Drop some dice. Sorry about that. So here we go. Well, again, not very much. All right, now we resolve the siege engines. So here we forfeit 1. Any die. I'm going to do a blue, I think, this time. And then I'm going to get rid of this guy. So I'd rather have the option of moving a flame if I need to. All right, the next one is out of range, out of range, out of range. This one's in range. Reroll 1, 6. Have no 6. Yep, I do have 6. Got a 5, so not too much damage there. All right. Now we resolve an event. Let's see what event we get this time. Deserter. A few hours before sunrise, you hear the snap of twigs in the tree line. You see familiar eyes looking back at you. With his family only a day's hike from the fortress, you don't fault the man for deserting his post, but you still aim your crossbow as steady as you can as he turns from you and runs into the woods. Move 1 active die to your spent die pool. Well, that just stinks. So I'm going to use this 1 and bring it to my inactive dice pool. All right. Now we perform our actions. So let's take a look. We've got to get rid of this one because it's already in the vanguard, but it's only going to cost us 10 to do so. So let's see here. Let's see. What do we have? Anything? Forgot that again. I gotta watch that. Well, we got to get rid of it, so it's going to be 10. I've only got 2 blue die. I don't want to do that. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this siege engine is gone, and I get a champion. Let's see what I get. Brother Benzin, +1 against any magic user. That's good. All right. 4 and 4. +1 magic user. Okay, so let's 4 and 3. No, 4 and 4. Because it's got this extra strength on it. So I could do I like this guy. I like to get rid of him, so we've got 2 here, and that's going to be dangerous. So 4, 4. Okay, so I'm going to use my inactive, and I'm going to destroy this one. And it will. I can swap 2 adjacent cards. So let's take a look, see what we can do with that. 6, 7. I'm going to go ahead and destroy this guy. And that will be the end of that. That was quick. Now we activate the Vanguard. So 1 here. 1 here. And 1 here. Alright, so it's getting close here. See how I've got 3, so I'm going to have to swap that somewhere. I'm going to use this card here. So, looks like that's it. Next thing we're going to do is advance the battlefield. We have advanced the battlefield. Now we're going to take a look at reinforcing the battlefield. So the first thing we do is take a look and see how many siege engines we have. We've got 1, 2, so we're going to have to put siege engine 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 1 here. That's it. Then we reinforce with 4 more troops. Here. 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 There. All right. Now we roll our dice. Just a couple of 5s and 1 6. All right. Now we're going to, I'm going to use this. I remembered this time. I'm going to use this card here, which will block the effect of 1 siege engine if I've got one that's in range, which I do. This one is in range. Spend one red die and a blue die. Or this one, reroll a 6. So I'm going to use it on this one so I don't have to lose 2 dice, and I'm going to reroll this 6. Brings me to a 4. All right. Now we resolve an action or an event. Gargan's Blessing. Gargan, the old god, god of gargoyles and fiery earth, shadow in the ocean, and guardian of House Uve. He was sent to the Eversleep by Zamor, the red dragon. On occasion, when a prayer is uttered to him and the right sacrifices are made, he opens his eyes and blesses those who ask with his power. Add 2 blue tokens to the closest siege engine. All right, that's going to be how we perform our actions. So, 8. Get this one. Get the double value of 1 die. So it's going to be 8. Oops, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to do this one as well. Another 8. 8. And I'm going to do this one for 4. 3, 4. Now I'm going to use this one to attack any non-front card. To attack here. And then I'm going to use this one to double the value of 1 die. I'm going to double the value of this die, which will give me a 10, 11, 12, 13. Since it's in the second row, that's what it does. It takes 13. So this one is gone. And I get a champion. We get Lady Guerrera. You flip it over to get +2 against any magic user. There. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use this. I'm going to flip this to move this flame here. Okay, this is beautiful. Check this out. All right, I'm going to change 1 die to a 6. This one goes to a 6. I'm going to use this. See how this is right? It's got 2 flames on it already. It needs 2 more. So I could either get rid of this one or this one, but I don't want to exchange this and this because this will be in the vanguard. And if I activate the vanguard, then it'll kill me and I'll be dead. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to swap 2 adjacent cards. I'm going to swap here and here. All right, and then I'm going to take the 6 and I'm going to kill this goblin. Goblin says, gain and roll 1 red die. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to gain and roll 1 red die. Here it is. A 3. All right. So I haven't explained this before, but if you can't use a die for anything, you can sacrifice a die to get rid of 1 flame. So I'm going to do that here. All right. That's the end of that turn. Now we're going to activate the vanguard, which is here. So I get to put that right back, but at least it's not a 3. This gets discarded. And then we're going to advance the battlefield. We have advanced the battlefield, and now it's time to reinforce the battlefield. Now let's check. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 catapults, or siege engines, I'm sorry. So we're good there. So now we have to reinforce with troops. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to roll our dice. Let's see what we get. Well, we got some pretty good ones. Sorry, I had to put these back because I messed up and I had to redo the round. So I forgot to put those back. All right, so now, as you can see, we're going to have to get rid of this. This is on the Vanguard, and if the Vanguard activates, we are dead. So we have rolled our dice. Now it's time for us to resolve any of the siege engines. So let's take a look. This one, 1, 2, 3, is in range. Discard 1 champion and flip 1. So I'm going to get rid of this one and flip this one. This one's out of range. This one's out of range. This one's in range. Reroll 1, 6. I'll take a 6. Oh, wow. Went from a 6 to 1. That's not good. Okay, those have been resolved. Now we resolve an event. Let's see what we get this time. Fools rush in. The orc shaman appears from the cloud of green smoke. He pulls a vial of something from his pouch, uncorks it, finds a weakened soldier, and proceeds to force black liquid down their throat. The orc shaman sinks into the earth and disappears. The soldier who was fed the black liquid lets out a blood-curdling cry of fury. Add 2 soldier tokens to the weakest troop in the Vanguard. All right, let's look and see. 8. All right, there we go. Okay, now we perform our actions. So again, we've got to get rid of this. So it's going to cost 10 soldier dies and 2. Let's see what we got here. Double the value, attack a non-front card. Well, let's see. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this one, double the value of this 5. And I guess I have to add a 5, unfortunately, to get rid of it. So it is destroyed. And I get to add a prince or a champion. See what we get. Dr. Kilter. Turn it over, flip it over to remove all red and blue tokens from 1 card. Well, that's good. I like that. I'm going to use that right now. I'm going to turn it over and get rid of these red tokens. All right. Now, let's see what we got. I want to get this one. So I'm going to flip 1 to its opposite side. It's going to cost me 5 to do that. So I'm going to use a 6 to do that. And then I want to get rid of this. Double the value of 1 die. It cost me 8. 6, 7, 8. All right. 12. All right. I think I'm going to attack this siege engine using this card, double the value of 1 die. So I'm going to double here for an 8. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here. Okay, this is destroyed. And I get to get a champion. Let's see what we get. Turn it over, get +2 against a siege engine. Well, I wish I had that before I just destroyed that one. That's all right. All right, so use this. Flip one die to its opposite side. So 1 is going to become a 6. And then I'm going to use these two to destroy this one, which will spend 2 to overkill an adjacent siege engine. All I've got left is a 3. Let's see, I got anything that'll give me a +1? No. Non-front card. Anything there? Oh, I do. Okay. So I'm going to use this card. Attack any non-front card. No, I'm not going to do that. I am going to use this last one to get rid of this flame because it's going to be attacked. All right, that's the end of that round. All my dice are used. I have attacked what I can. And it's time to activate the Vanguard. So here, this goes away. Now, before we move on, I need to let you know some stuff. Okay, so the win and lose conditions are: you lose if there is a siege engine in the Vanguard when you activate the Vanguard. You lose when a turret on your fortress receives a 4th impact token, 4 of these flame tokens. You lose if the troop deck is exhausted when you need to reinforce the battlefield. You win if the siege engine deck is exhausted and there are no siege engines in the battlefield. So unfortunately, we're about to lose. So I'm just going to keep this video going, or this part of the video going, and show you how that's going to work. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is we're going to advance the battlefield. Okay, so here we're going to advance. Okay, now we take a look. We're going to reinforce the battlefield. First, we've got to take a look, see how many siege engines we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3. So we got to fill with siege engines here, here. And then we fill with 4 troops. 1, 2. As you can see, the troop deck is exhausted. We cannot complete filling the we can't complete reinforcing the battlefield. So unfortunately, we lose the game. Well, there we go. I made some mistakes. I know I did. Sorry about that. This is the first time I've done this kind of thing on a video. So I hope you enjoyed it. A couple of things that I want to point out is it's a tricky game. It's fun. It's absolutely fantastic. And if you can get this game, we'll try to put some places where you can purchase this game in the notes below. But you have to watch. You got to watch a lot of things. One, you got to watch to make sure that you don't have any of your towers overtaken by fire. And it's pretty easy to do if you don't watch it. You also have to make sure that you don't allow any of the siege engines to get into your vanguard and attack you, because that will end the game. But you have to be quick enough. You have to challenge these siege engines quick enough and get rid of them quick enough, because the win, like I said, the win condition, you win if the siege engine deck is exhausted and there are no siege engines in the battlefield. So you got to balance attacking the siege engines and allowing troops in the vanguard. You allow too many troops in the vanguard and they apply too many fires to one of your towers, you lose. You don't attack, you attack more of the troops in the vanguard and you leave a lot of your siege engines out, then it allows for the troop deck to be exhausted. So there's a lot going on with this game. It's simplistic as you can. I mean, for me, it seems like it's simplistic. You basically roll the dice and do what the cards say. The event deck is filled with disaster. There's a few cards that help you out, but most of them are you're increasing the strength of your troops in the vanguard or on the field. You're increasing your siege engine strength. And also these champions, they help, but sometimes they don't help enough. So I don't know. It's just you got to do a lot of kind of watching what you're doing and looking at the whole field before you decide to make a move. But I love this game. It's fantastic. It's very relaxing. If you get it, you just set it out and you smoke your pipe and it's kind of like chess, or checkers. It just, you've got to kind of apply the dice to the cards and then take the cards and apply them to defeating other cards and the siege engines. So there you go. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I hope you enjoy this type of video because I'm going to do more. I love gaming. I love board gaming. Like I said, I think I'm reliving my childhood because I'm old enough not for a lot of you folks that are in my age group not to really like this kind of thing, but I love it. It's really cool. How a lot of these games work and how they challenge your mind and they get your blood pumping. It really is cool. All right, well, that's it for this video. Expect more playthroughs, and I hope you have enjoyed it. And to those Pipe Club members that have supported the channel, I want to say thank you. And if you find that you would like to support the channel, please click the join button below for more information. Until my next video, I want to wish you and your family happy piping.